Hey everyone, Amirdrassil here, and today we take a look at the top things you should prioritize doing before Season 4 hits. We do now have an official release date, which is April 23rd for the NA region and April 24th for the EU. This means Season 3 will be coming to a close the night before the maintenance on the weekly reset. To make everything clearer, that's 22nd for the NA and 23rd for EU. Those are the two final days of Season 3 depending on where you live. Now that we all know when it ends, let's break down what you can do until then. First up, let's start with what will no longer be obtainable once the new season hits, and towards the end of the video I'll give some personal advice and some tips. Starting off with M+, as with any other season, there are achievements tied to reaching specific Mythic+ milestones. These achievements will become unobtainable in the next season, so let's break them all down. In Season 3 we have the Keystone Explorer for reaching 750 rating, Keystone Conqueror reaching 1500 rating, which also rewards you with the Dreaming title. Going up the ladder to earn the Keystone Master achievement, you need to obtain a Mythic+ rating of at least 2000. And you'll also be granted the Verdant Armored Mount. Both the mount and the achievement will no longer be attainable in Season 4. If acquiring this mount is something you want to get, now is the best time to push higher keys and get that rating. Furthermore, achieving KSM is one of the 3 ways to complete the Dragonfly Season 3 Master achievement. Upon completing this achievement, players are rewarded with the Emerald Mark of Mastery. This unique token can be used to purchase an item from Theozaklos in the Emerald Dream Zone. For players who primarily focus on PvE activities, it's actually advisable to exchange the Emerald Mark of Mastery for PvP gear transmog. PvP transmogs are typically more challenging for PvE players to obtain, and sometimes you can't even do that after the season ends. Meanwhile, PvE transmogs remain farmable and obtainable at any given time. The Keystone Hero achievement of Season 3 is also going away, and to get this one you must net yourself a 2.5k rating or more. Successfully obtaining it is one of the ways to complete Dragonfly Season 3 Hero achievement. Plus, you'll receive the Emerald Blossom Dreamstone, a visual effect for some of the Amirdrassil raid tier sets, and it's actually pretty nice. Last but not least, the final and most difficult achievement of Mythic+ is the Dreaming Hero. It's granted to players who end Mythic+ Season 3 with a rating in the top 0.1% of all players in the region. That's obviously something very few can accomplish. It's an elite reward for those who manage to push the highest keys during the season. Along with the achievement, you'll also be granted the Dreaming Hero title. You'll be rewarded with this in the weeks following the Season's 3 end, so be sure to hold off on changing factions until after you receive the title. Blizzard's worse, so, don't risk it, and don't say I didn't warn ya. Another crucial element that is changing in Season 4 is the dungeon rotation. All current Mythic+ dungeons will be replaced with all Dragonfly dungeons, and I'm talking about the normal dungeons, not the Mega Dungeon, the Dawn of the Infinite. That will be also gone. And what does that mean is that you will not be able to unlock the 7 instant portals that we have right now for the current dungeons. If you are not familiar with this, to unlock a portal to a specific dungeon, you will need to complete that specific dungeon in a +20 or higher and within the time limit. These dungeon portals give you access to different continents, and they always come in handy, especially when farming all content for rewards. Although they come with a lengthy cooldown of 8 hours, but it also resets once you clear a Mythic+ dungeon, so pretty convenient. I honestly can't stress enough how much easier they make traveling. For example, by successfully completing Wakecrest Manor on a +20 or higher, you can unlock a portal to Kultiras. Similarly, completing Adaltazar grants instant travel to Zuldazar, which could be particularly useful for Alliance players. The Everbloom is located in Draenor, while Darkheart Thicket and Blackroot Hold are found in the Broken Isles. For Cataclysm with the Throne of the Tides, you can teleport to Vashir, although honestly I don't think anyone wants to visit that zone. Nonetheless, it's still very good to have for any potential farming. And lastly, for completing both wings of the Mega Dungeon in a +20 or higher, you can unlock a portal to Thaldraszus. While you might think it is not really particularly useful right now, well, consider further down the line, when Dragonflight ends and you might want to visit the dungeon for rewards. And speaking of the Mega Dungeon, maybe you should consider farming it now, and I will explain soon why. But before I do that, it's important to know here that these portals are only unlocked on the character that successfully completed the timer. While this doesn't necessarily mean we'll never see these dungeons again in Mythic Plus, it remains unclear if and when that might happen. So for the time being, if you want to get these portals, it's better to do them now. Okay, so back to the Dawn of the Infinite. This dungeon drops a very rare item from defeating the final boss of the second wing, the Murozon's Rise. Chronolord Dios can drop the reins of the Quantum Courser. While not a traditional mount as we know them, this item has a unique ability. It can transform into any of these 12 mounts from older dungeons, ensuring that you will receive a mount that you don't already have. If you do have them all, well, congrats, you can skip ahead to the next part. But for the rest of us, including myself, hear me out. This item only drops on Mythic difficulty, which basically limits it to once per week. However, since Dawn is currently in the Mythic Plus rotation, players can run lower keys repeatedly for infinite attempts, provided that you do have the key available. Otherwise, you can join other groups from the Dungeon Finder, but be careful, you need to go to the Murozon's Rise, the second wing. That's where you can find Chronolord Dios, and that's where you can get this item. By spamming the dungeon in low keys is your best opportunity right now to increase your chance of obtaining this item and thus a random mount from the list. Furthermore, in Season 3, some of the old Mythic Plus dungeons offer the chance to acquire unique transmog pieces that don't seem to drop in any other difficulty, nor they ever did in the past. These items, which you'll see in a bit is mostly weapons, are exclusive to Season 3 and very well may not be available in future seasons. Some notable examples include the two-handed polearm Howling Echoes, which drops from the first boss in Blackroot Hold. Notably, this model was previously only used by NPCs. Again, in Blackroot Hold, you can obtain Ravencrest Wrath, a two-handed sword which is actually the personal weapon of Ravencrest himself. Additionally, the Corrupted Knot, a one-handed mace, is included only in the Mythic Plus loot table of Darkheart Thicket, dropping from Oakheart. Interestingly, a similar model can only be found in the mini-dungeon of Exile's Reach. Unfortunately, none of these weapons appear on the loot table for any other difficulty, but there is a possibility that they could return in the future. For now, if you're interested in obtaining these unique weapons, it's best to farm them during Season 3. If there are any other weapons or any kind of gear that is going away with the removal of all Mythic Plus dungeons, please let me know. These are the only ones that I found so far. Before I move on with the raids, it's worth mentioning that now is the ideal time to try and complete the hard mode of the Dawn of the Infinite and get yourself the Infinite Transmog set. This achievement is not so hard to do now that we have outgeared the dungeon. Right now, the Mega Dungeon is tuned at item level 437, but when Season 4 hits, it shoots up to 493. While the achievement itself will not go away, it will make things a lot harder. To complete this achievement, you need to find 4 time-loss artifacts scattered throughout the dungeon. They look like small hourglasses and they spawn after killing certain bosses. Assign 4 players, 1 for each artifact, and carry them to the final boss without anyone dying. Carrying this item has some restrictions, like you can't mount up or you can double jump as you'll drop the artifact. If it does drop down, you need to pick it up as fast as you can. When you finally get all of the 4 artifacts, you can then proceed to Dios and the final challenge awaits you there. During the fight, Dios spawn 4 adds and you'll have to bring 1 artifact to each of the adds. Simply go inside the ring around the add, which will automatically throw the artifact into the portal. Note that the first one spawn 1 at a time and then the final 2 spawn together, so you need to communicate well. Doing this successfully without anyone dying will give you the achievement "Put that thing back where it came from", and with that you will unlock the Infinite Regalia Transmog set in all armor types. Okay, moving on to the raids, there are 2 achievements that will go away with the launch of Season 4. First one is the Ahead of the Curve Firak the Blazing. To get this achievement, you need to defeat Firak on heroic difficulty or higher, and again, successfully doing it grants you the Emerald Mark of Mastery, the tier set token, which we discussed earlier. By defeating Firak, you can also loot from his corpse the Ever-Glowing Ember. It starts a quest rewarding you with the Renew Proto-Drake, embodiment of Shadowflame. It's basically a dragon riding mount customization that resembles Firak's appearance. The second raid related achievement that goes away is the cutting edge Firak the Blazing. Similarly with the ahead of the curve, you need to kill Firak, but this time you need to do it in Mythic. This achievement won't be attainable in Dragonflight Season 4 and subsequent seasons. Upon its completion, you'll automatically unlock the Blazing title as well. Getting cutting edge is the second way of obtaining the Season 3 hero, which unlocks visual effects for some of the Amirdrassil raid tier sets. Again, as we have discussed, you can get the visual effect from also achieving 2.5 Mythic Plus rating, which is a lot easier in my opinion than killing Mythic Firak, for example. And there is also a third way to get it via PvP. WoW is not really all about PvE, even though some try to prove otherwise. PvP is an essential component of WoW, and I'm pretty sure for many of you out there as well. So let's see which rewards to focus on now before they go away with Season 4. As with any other season, climbing up the PvP ladder earns you achievements and transmog pieces. For reaching each PvP rank, up until Elite, you will unlock the full transmog set, but that's only for the character's class that you'll manage to get the achievement with. If you want to earn it for a different class, it means you'll have to switch to that class and reach the Elite rank again. I think the Priests and Demon Hunters ones are probably my favorites for this season, but the best I managed to do was collecting just a few pieces from a Priest. But honestly, I'm really proud of it. You will also gain this tower from reaching Elite, and if you also win 100 rated solo shuffles while in the Elite rank, you will also unlock the Verdant Gladiator's prestigious cloak. The Challenger rank 2 also counts as the PvP milestone towards achieving the Dragonflight Season 3 Master. As we went over on the PvE side, this achievement rewards the Emerald Mark of Mastery, which can be exchanged for a PvP or a PvE class set piece of your choice. In a similar manner, reaching the Elite rank grants the Hero Season 3 achievement, and this awards Emerald Blossom Dreamstone. As I mentioned, the Dreamstone adds new effects on some of your tier pieces. And so we've exhausted all the ways to obtain this particular achievement and the previous one. Furthermore, into the PvP territory, winning 100 rated solo shuffle matches at Elite rank grants you the Legend achievement, which comes with rewards such as the Verdant Legend title and the Verdant Legends pennant. The Gladiator mount for this season is the Verdant Gladiator Slither Drake that will unfortunately also go away. To get this awesome mount, you need to earn the Gladiator achievement for Season 3 by winning 50 matches in 3 vs 3 battles while you are at the Elite rank, and again only during this season. Once you achieve this, you'll receive the Slither Drake customization. This mount pairs perfectly as well with the matching title. The Verdant title is earned through completing the same name achievement. Basically, you'll need to end the PvP season at the top 0.1% of the 3 vs 3 arena ladder with at least 115 games played. The final PvP title is the Verdant Legend, which is earned from the respective achievement that requires ending the season at the top 0.1% of the solo shuffle ladder with at least 15 games played. Once Dragonflight Season 4 begins, none of these PvP achievements or their rewards will be obtainable, so be sure to complete them until then, if that's your jam. I obviously couldn't finish off the PvP segment without mentioning the Vicious mount for this season. In Season 3, you can earn the lovely Moonbeast mount, which comes with different skins for Alliance and Horde players. It's one mount, but essentially changes depending on your faction. Winning arena and solo shuffle matches while at 1000 rating and above will fill your PvP rewards progress towards obtaining this mount. Surprisingly, obtaining this mount isn't as hard as it may seem. I managed to obtain it in just a few weeks through solo shuffles. If you've already got the Owlbear mount, you can continue farming for a saddle token and exchange it for older Vicious mounts. While the Vicious mounts don't disappear, you can still obtain them after the season ends by exchanging the saddle token. To be fair, I don't know if there is enough time if you start now or depending what time you see this video, but if you are already halfway through farming, I would honestly recommend completing it. Okay, as I promised, a few more tips and what I would personally do. You know, it rarely happens, but sometimes there is nothing to get out of the Great Vault. So what do? We get tokens, and sometimes we forget those tokens and they're just sitting in a corner in our bags. So yeah, now is the best time to actually go and find those tokens and spend them. You can use them on gems, mats, or you know what, you can exchange them for gold if you don't need any of the available items. You can even buy crests and fly stones, and you can upgrade your gear. And speaking of upgrading gear, you should definitely do that. Preferably max it out if you can. The main reason that you want to do that is in Season 4 all of the activities will start dropping a new type of crest, the Awakened one. And with that in mind, you won't be able to upgrade your current season gear anymore. Additionally, don't forget that you can trade in lower crests for higher ones and utilize those to maximize your gear upgrades. While the 2 legendaries we've had so far in Dragonflight will not disappear and are still very well farmable in Season 4, there are still many reasons that you want to get them now. For one, you will have many other things to go after, and second, they can be upgraded further in Season 4, but more on that in a bit. For new or returning players that haven't obtained them yet, you should definitely try and get them now. You can farm Najuro, the Evoker's legendary weapon, from the final boss in Aberus raid, Sarkareth, and for plate users, Firala drops from Firak, the final boss in the Amirdrassil raid. They have a low chance to drop, but they are personal loot and there is a bad luck protection system in place. The in-drop rate of Firalath has luckily been buffed as well, so there is hope you can secure it before Season 4. However, if you can't obtain them until the new season, it's not really the end of the world. You can continue farming then, but having these legendaries going into Season 4 will be a lot more beneficial. As I mentioned, you'll be able to purchase an upgrading item with Dinar, the new currency coming from the Awakened raids. This said item will bring your legendary to a base item level of 502, and from there you can upgrade it further by using the Awakened crests and fly stones. So yeah, stay tuned as I will also be making a video on the Dinar system and everything you need to know about Season 4. And with that, we have arrived to my final tip for you. It's pretty much unavoidable, but once the new season launches, the majority of players will likely shift their attention to retail WoW, potentially making it more challenging to queue up for Plunderstorm. Even though Plunderstorm is not leaving with Season 4, but rather a few weeks after that, I mean honestly, who will want to do that instead of jumping right into this season? And with that in mind, it's probably best to finish off your renown grind now, if you do want to get all the related rewards. If you don't like the mode, it's completely okay, there are plenty of other goals to pursue right now in retail. One of them is going after the meta achievements. If you want to earn a very good boy, you can do that now. And yeah, this is actually what I'm doing right now with my spare time, and you can catch me live streaming all the progress. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. What will you be doing until Season 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you are there, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, be sure to subscribe for more content like this and ring the bell to stay up to date. Good luck with whatever you're doing, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye! Well, look at that.